Back here at Brunswick Zone Mesa for the Handicap Division title match of the 22nd Annual Arizona Conference Invitational. And the colorful one, having one heck of a year, is back. It's Cleaford, and he's got a lot of handicap to give here.
Oh, good.
Cleaford throws that one out the window. He's got to win by 47 to tie, 48 to win. Has been absolutely solid all year, has caught his brother in a couple categories and trying to extend that lead. Don't giggle.
All right.
It is what it is.
I know.
All right, there you go. Team Robbins,
I mean,
collectively,
I'm more happy for him than I am.
having one heck of a season. That was very sweet, William. Gotta watch the chop. Oh, wow, I don't think that's the way he intended to make it, but they all fell.
Spare's a spare, Jeff.
Clifford, a two-time champ, almost a three, as he's already got a invitational second place this season up in New Mexico, losing to his buddy Kyle Perry in an all-Arizona New Mexico final. Here we have an all-Arizona and Arizona final. Isn't that nice, defending their home states? Clifford from Prescott and Kendall from right here in the valley.
Harry.
Oh, and a rotten 2 frames to start the camera. He asked me to make sure I turned the camera on this time because I blew it and didn't get the New Mexico title match. He may wish I blew this one and left the other match on right now, because this has not gone well since the camera has turned on, and that's not good for Clifford because he needs time to make up that many pins. He's obviously capable of doing it, but you need, you know, a certain number of frames. You can only pick up so many per shot. CJ messing everything up over here. He just wants some camera time, so there we go. We'll make sure that happens. $1,000 for first place, $500 for the runner-up, so they've each locked up at least half a grand. Kendall would like to win title number 2. She won her lone victory in Flagstaff, where we will begin the 23rd season of the Arizona Conference. That's news for you folks, September 15th. Do it all over again.
Is that an EBI drink?
That is an Ebonite Cherry Zero. Kendall's going to just try and hit the head pin and get good things to happen. She breaks up the split, and that's a nice, easy spare for her. Easier spare for her. There's nothing easy when you play for $1,000. Tournament of Champions / non-champs tomorrow. Always one of our favorite events, as we see alumni from all 22 seasons of JBT. Good luck on that scratch field tomorrow. It is one of the toughest scratch fields you'll ever bowl in without PBA in front of the name of the tournament tomorrow. Here with scratch champion Lucas Rabb right to my right, complaining about his feet. Uh-oh, Kendall's going to miss that. No, that's a bad miss for Kendall, as you can tell by her reaction. She feels the exact same way I do.
I did that after my match.
Lucas, I watch the Seattle Mariners play baseball almost every day at home, and they are so far off of baseball's radar. No one's talking about them, and they're 20 games over 500. You might be the Seattle Mariners of JBT. We talk about all these big, you know, Harleys with all the big numbers and everything. No one's mentioning Lucas Rabb, who won 4 titles and now Bowler of the Year. You like it that way, or you want people making some noise? You like to stay under the radar?
I like to stay under the radar.
Mañana, Jacob Buttriff. We'll see you. Get your Ray game tomorrow. These guys are coming for you.
I won my first title once.
You don't have to deal with those, you know, Chris Barnes of the world. It's time to deal with Lucas Rabb.
Unless he somehow...
We are so proud of Jacob and Brianna and Shannon and Marshall and all the other JBT grads making their names bowling's biggest stages. Kendall needs herself a spare right here. After a strike in the first, it's been a dashy, dashy, dashy.
We don't like dashies.
No, more slashies, less dashies. That's a better shot there. All right, avoids the chop and covers that 610. I don't know if she's exhausted, nervous, upset, what the deal is here, but I couldn't blame her if all of those things applied. Exhaustion, certainly. You bowl 5 qualifying games. This is roughly round 9 of match play. I don't know exactly what round it is, but it's an awful lot of bowling. We don't want to give you $1,000. You got to earn $1,000. Yeah. Josh Malloy, top 5 in the scratch division today. Ooh, look out. The thing we haven't talked about yet is that Clifford's thumb is annihilated, and obviously that didn't feel right with the thumb repair that he was making before, so he's going to have to figure out what to do now about it. He just put some of that KT tape on his thumb.
What do you need?
And after throwing the gutter, he ripped that stuff off. And there's a blur of color leaving.
For the record,
all I see is this blur of color running around, and he is off behind the curtain. What will the wizard do?
He doesn't have any skin left on his thumb.
Here's a young lady from Utah finishing in 3rd place today. Made her top 5 in Kingman and got all the way to 3rd place, and she's all of a sudden camera shy. And you know what happens when we're camera shy. We just stay right there. You did very well. Congratulations. We're so very proud of you. Yes, thank you very much. There you have it. Well, see who else is camera shy. Thanks to this lady for having us today. That's right, the wonderful Jody. Been involved in this game quite a while. Thank you for hosting us. Clifford has returned from the curtain. Yeah, how weird. Lucas points out whisperingly that today's not a holiday, which is usually what Keys is winning.
You can go ahead if you want.
What is now? Now it's Rab Day.
Yeah.
How about that?
National Rap Day.
Well, the last 2 days were like weird holidays, and then tomorrow is Father's Day.
This is close enough. It's Father's Day weekend. That works for me.
And also at the last tournament that was
Almost
Father's Day, I didn't
super
do
glued my hand to
anything. Or I didn't do anything, so.
The statistical anomaly that he won his first 2 titles on holidays is what he's talking about there. So Clifford doing some emergency repairs. Kendall being very polite not to call the clock on Clifford, but I think she's happy for the break herself right over there. So we're not.
Yes, tomorrow.
Mañana, kiddo.
Almost super gluing my
Take,
hand to stuff.
Clifford, take your time. Get it right.
Jeff, did you say bowling is my way?
Anybody who says bowling isn't a sport is simply uneducated. You better believe it.
Hey, you should pull Desert Open. That'll be
Clifford has done an awful lot of bowling this year, somewhere around 400 games of actual JBT competition.
No, we haven't.
And again, of course, 13 or 14 today. He keeps making, because he's in the top 5, he's guaranteed to make all the cuts in all these long format tournaments, so he's automatically bowling a ton of games every weekend this time of year. And it doesn't stop. He gets a week off next week, I assume, unless they're planning something I don't know about. So we have the Seattle Invitationals.
But that means we'd have to.
But then SoCal in 2 weeks. Then Junior Gold. They'll do approximately 7,000 games of bowling in Junior Gold. They bowl forever.
Yeah.
Come straight to TPC.
Why get a job when you can just I'm happy.
You make money at it, go for it.
Inspirational quote. I get a job.
Well, he didn't lose any count off the gutter ball, so that's a good thing.
Good way to look at him.
Hey, listen, he's still got to figure out something to do to this thumb. Brock in his 300 Club shirt, a one-of-a-kind shirt, thanks to Logo Infusion. We just could not find it in our hearts to get Clifford Robbins, of all people, a regular black shirt for his 300. So I told them at Logo, I said, come up with the wildest, most colorful thing you have. And son of a gun if you didn't match it to some slacks within a couple weeks. More seriously, I don't know if he can get this ball off his thumb. And it's, even if he physically can at this point, there's a mental challenge involved in here because you're going to get right to release and go, ah, please. It's going to make it harder to execute a good shot. All this is good news for Kendall through no fault of her own, although she is being iced over there. She might be asleep. She was tired before. Nope, she's standing and smiling, and here we go. See if Clifford can pry much slower, of course, but it's off his hand. And hey, and wow.
Hey, nice way to save your mark.
And that hesitancy that he had might have actually helped him because he actually slowed the ball down a little bit, and it seemed like he was too amped up and piping it a little bit too hard before. That ball picked up a roll much better, and he might have completely backed into an adjustment that he wasn't even thinking about. Boy, would that be a silver lining for him here. He only leads by 8, and he's got 40 more pins to make up. But again, that was a thumb issue. As you see it just hanging there, and it must be just ripping the skin as it hangs in there. That's kind of nasty to say, but listen, you look at every pro's thumb after a week of competition. They're just this grilled sausage rather than raw hamburger, smashed meatballs. All these analogies are great, except those no thumb guys. Maybe they know what they're talking about. pretty good spare attempt. All right. Wow, so he gets out of that with spare. He will continue his surgery while Balea comes up here in her 6th and see if she can maintain her momentum from that spare that she had in her 5th.
What on earth is going on?
Not directly, but they sure, you know, say nice things and all that. Luke is getting some sponsor work in over here to our right.
He wishes he was.
Oh, that ball's left the entire way. Well, she's only going to get 5 off the spare and leave a tricky cluster there. Any age and any average can do well, and there's certain points of each tournament where different ages and averages have advantages, and this is always advantage, not always, but often advantage the older kid at this point, because an 11-year-old is just plumb tired. I'm tired and I haven't thrown a ball. This thing is just absolutely exhausted. Of course, he throws 4-handed, not just 2-handed, so it's
Yogi would probably have
understandable.
the highest average in JBT. He would have beaten me in a couple of the games.
He might make the points list next year.
Hey,
This is a very tricky spare. That 8-pin is hard to get out in this cluster. See how she goes about it. Got a chance. Oh, that's the problem with it. If you get out that 8, you leave something like the 6 over there. Yeah, well, Robin's lead balloons to 21 with that open. Again, 48 is the magic number to win the title. So about halfway through the game, and he's made up about half of the pins. You guys can leave anytime you want. You are not obligated to
I'm not
continue.
saying anything.
Miss Balea would be absolutely thrilled with your absence. Real nice form, by the way, for a youngster. He's getting taught well. And Pop Derek and everybody else. And oh no, a 310. Oh jeez. Demon split.
Just kryptonite.
You've had too many combs.
Every time we
Never enough. There's no such thing.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't see anyone leave the Big Apple today.
Almost. Hedges almost did. Hedges just barely tilted the 10 out of the apple. I don't know why I despise this split, so it's not that difficult, but boy, is it give me fits.
Oh God. Sure gave me fits today.
Show us how. Show us how. Oh! Just barely slides by. 77 through 7, but now they're open and another opportunity for Robbins to take a step closer.
Close your eyes.
Listen, this is all gravy for Clifford. He's done a ton of winning. Made some real decent scholarship money. He's in the clear lead for all conference bowler of the year. And that's a good shot. Yes! I honestly feel that if he can just clear his thumb, the fact that it's making him throw it slower is going to be a benefit here. If he looks back at the early shots of this video, he was just winging it as fast as he could. And it's tough to read a ball roll that way. Absolutely. Hold on, a pretty slick Chichinitza, not a whole lot of tug room, but that volume has pushed down in some places. Ow! And a tremendous break on the Brooklyn side. That is large. Kendall's got to answer here in her 8th now. Got to get some marks on the board. What a huge break for Clifford. Well, Cortez bowled 1-fingered today and averaged awful high doing it. Clifford's going to bowl 0-thumbed the rest of the week with a thumb in the ball even. Whoever's selling potatoes in the greater Mesa area, we have a need for one right now. That's a pretty good shot. Should switch this to the plastic and still can't get that to hold. That shows you how dry the track is after 14 games. Just got to get that last little reserve of energy, if there is any reserve of energy left. Get that ball a little more down the lane. Clifford needs to slow down. He did. Kendall needs to speed up. That's a tough ask. Does anybody do the potato trick anymore? You know what I'm talking about? All the starch in a raw potato. You stick your thumb in a raw potato and it helps out that skin a lot. 47 to tie, 48 to win. by the way, yeah. Negative 47 is the actual answer to your question. Correct. Yes! Big spare for Kendall. Again, as a Kendall, a bowler, you don't need too much narration, as her body language says more than any words could. She looks utterly relieved to have gotten that spare and needs to consolidate it with a good count off that spare. To go 3 or 4 pins here, though, well, that spare didn't do you a whole lot of good. To go 9, your count really helps, and you got a better chance at another spare. Of course, you can do what she did in the first and put up one of those little X things. Help her cause out quite a bit. Any age, any average, if you're watching this at home. And 9-year-old Aislinn win the Handicap Invite last week. 11-year-old Kendall going for it. He gets a decent count off of that with the 7 and a makeable spare. Says all the makings are coming right down to it. Just the way Mrs. Robbins liked it. Mr. Robbins, for 2 tournaments in a row, has been able to wear his belt the entire tournament. I know Daniel watches these videos, so had to get him in there somewhere.
My 300 belt.
Daniel, I got your question regarding the music, and I'll have to look that up for you. Sorry, I haven't answered you yet. Chance at the spare for Balea. Oh boy, just clips too little of that 1 pin. Again, her body language tells the story, and again, Clifford. This is a big opportunity to win this invitational now. All matter what he can do on this double. We'll talk about permutations and whatnot after this shot. He's in very good shape right now as I do some mental math here. We all know how my mental math goes. Crashes the head pin. Could have been a lot worse than that.
All right.
Hey, don't miss the 4th of July firecracker tournament. Every time I try and add up the score, that shows up. Okay. 156. If he makes this, he'll lead by a theoretical 54. So if he makes this, he's in the lead. If he misses this, he's trailing heading into the 10th. Tough spare.
Come on. Come on. Got a hook.
And a very nice conversion of it. So he takes a 54-pin lead into the 10th, and he's got to win by 48. So he's leading by 6. 2 strikes would win the tournament. A spare would force Kendall to double, which is a really tough task. And an open would allow Kendall to win this title with only a mark and good count. 10th frame, major title.
Come on, Clover. Come on. Oh!
Well, this is, of all the things for him to leave. Last week up in Vegas, Clifford Shea ended on a 10-pin miss that shocked the crowd at that time in a big match against Avery. He can go a long way to erasing those demons if he can A, find a spare ball, and B, convert this 10-pin. He's found a spare ball. Here we go. Neither set of parents can watch. He is all over it. Hits it dead in the face. Any kind of count forces Kendall Balea to throw 2 strikes, which would be one of the more monumental achievements in JBT history if she can find a way to double. Oh gosh, here I'll throw out an oldie on you. About 15 or 20 years ago, Paul Carper, who was roughly a 105 average bowler at the time, doubled in the 10th to win a JBT title. That's about the only equivalent I can come up with. A gutsy finish from Clifford after the thumb exploded on him in the 5th. He marked out, including a double since then, and that has a chance to be just enough. Kendall taking some extra time. She has got to find a way to throw 2 strikes in a row, which means she's got to find a way to throw 1 strike in a row here. wins would be 122 plus 57 is not enough.
Oh!
And with that 7 pin, difference is 47. So give for 47 more pins on the 122 for 169. Lucas, I'm glad you bowling scratch because it's over.
He did bowl handicap though. No, she can win.
She cannot win. You're not adding in Clifford's 10 pins. 47 and 22.
I was adding 57. No, you don't need to prove it to me. I admit I was wrong.
No, no. We're gonna get back to Kendall in just a second. Do this on camera.
This is why people scratch.
Gutsy performance from 2 finalists, but it is Clifford Robbins continuing the dream season with the nightmare shirts, avenging a couple demons from this invitational season and winning it all.
Oh wait, Clifford won, I won, and we won together the other one.
They want to double, to mix it up.
Lucas is just having revelation after revelation over here.
That's crazy.
We'll try and fill him in on how this whole bowling thing works before tomorrow's TOC, and we'll see everybody tomorrow at that TOC. He's in dreamland right now, folks. We'll see you all tomorrow.